Hello, everyone, and welcome to this short lunch and learn session. I hope you all have your sandwiches ready. It's a mere half an hour that we have, and we're going to pack in a lot of information and demos to take you through Power Framework PPM. Let's do quick introductions as to who I am. I am Gero Renker, co-founder and director at Power Framework. We've been in the business of project portfolio management based in Microsoft technologies for about 20 years with a whole plethora of services to make our customers successful with tools in the Microsoft platform. And we have two major solutions in the marketplace: Power Framework PPM for enterprise project portfolio management, and then also Power Framework Risk for enterprise risk management. And it's, of course, Power Framework PPM that we will be talking about today. So what is Power Framework PPM? Let's start with that, give you a quick overview. It is a mature project portfolio management solution that covers both the intake of projects, receiving project ideas, proposals, aligning them to strategic objectives, prioritizing them, helping decision makers make decisions as to what projects they should be investing in, and then delivering projects with all the typical capabilities you would expect from a mature PPM application, helping team members to collaborate, implementing a single source of truth where all information is available to interested parties. And of course, in this case, that is through Power BI. So solution comes with rich out-of-the-box reporting and AI capabilities, and we will see some of that today. What is it that makes this solution stand out? It is the fact that it is built in the Microsoft Power Platform and deployed into it. So this is not a solution that we would be hosting for you. Rather, it is packaged up and deployed, installed into your own Microsoft tenant. And with that, we can, of course, integrate with familiar services that your users are used to working with, like Microsoft Teams or SharePoint for document management, or Microsoft Project or Planner for work and task management. And we are applying a single platform approach. Everything happens in the platform that you are already invested in. Your users are already authenticated to access the platform. They work in there every day, and we are placing this application at the heart of this for maximum collaboration, automation, integration, BI, and AI. So that single platform approach is strategically important. And that is the conceptual introduction, and we are going to jump straight into the application itself. And what I'm showing you here is a register of projects that I can scroll in my demo system, and you can see here I've exposed a chart showing project count by portfolio. So we have portfolio management. You can see a variety of portfolios here, and projects themselves are grouped by program. And we do really have customers that use this application for diverse portfolios, such as IT and engineering and construction, with different types of projects that are being catered for. And all information is, of course, then available for reporting, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Let me also briefly point out that this is, of course, completely configurable and customizable to our own customers' information requirement and process requirement. And in implementing the tool with our customers, we go through a series of workshops to make sure that this application speaks our customers' language and is adjusted to their ways of working. So projects, programs, portfolios drives a whole lot of different features. For example, risk management, we can attach risk to projects, programs, portfolios. Financial management, we will have budgets at portfolio level, program level, and so on. And of course, the whole navigation and reporting, I can apply filters and so on. But let me show you what this might look like for a senior executive from a reporting perspective. So let's switch to a Power BI dashboard. that now shows you a very highly aggregated view of those same 3 portfolios. And you can now see this is my delivery dashboard where I'm counting the total number of active projects, a mere 24 projects across the different portfolios. And we can see product development has 14 projects active, and there's some red, amber, green going on. So let's delve into product development. And now I see a kind of scorecard where, again, information is aggregated to the next level. So I see counts of projects by stage or by program. I see counts of records in terms of change requests and project health and so on. So of course, there's stuff going on here showing in red, and that's obviously will draw my eye to it. So I need to maybe look out for those extreme issues and drill into what's going on in that portfolio. There's clearly some problems here. So level down, showing me a register of issues recorded by projects and programs, and I'm going to apply that filter to focus in on just those issues rated extreme. And now I can go down a level deeper again. So if I'm interested in the full detail of this particular issue that's being recorded here, let's click this link. And this is now finally going to take me back into the application layer. So now I'm at the lowest level of detail. I'm looking at an issue record recorded for this particular project. And of course, this has been recorded by someone, and you can see the details at the top right. That has been me, and when it was last modified. And the form is completely configurable in terms of issue categorization, or the data content can be modified to our customers' needs. So if I'm here, I've landed here, I might be interested to find out, who last recorded or made an update to this particular issue. So we have field level change history. So I can see that I updated the description of this issue a while ago. So you can see the story here from the very top level, highly aggregate information down to the minute detail. Or I could explore this project further. So this is an issue for a particular project. I want to know more about this project overall. So let's go a level up into the full detail of this project. You can see the stages of my project lifecycle at the top, of course, completely configurable. The project has been in initiation for 5 months, and there's lots and lots of content that is available here. Again, all configurable. You don't have to have it all. And if I was maybe a portfolio executive that is interested in this project, maybe they would click onto this project report tab here to see a highlight report of this project and understand what's going on. There's obviously lots of information now from these various tabs being summarized into this particular report. Let's go back to my 3-tier structure of portfolio, program, and project. So we've discovered how that kind of drives reporting. Let's resort this view to also highlight the fact that we have, of course, as you've already discovered, stages of a project lifecycle in this. And again, completely configurable. Also, we might have different journeys, different stages, and sequences of stages for different types of projects and so on. Let's look at a project that has recently been received into my system, and that is at the very early stages of its life cycle. So we have here a project that is at the idea stage, and I can see who submitted this project request. Interestingly, this might have been typed into this application, into this screen, but equally it may have been received through integration from other sources. So the Microsoft infrastructure is extremely good in integrating with other cloud services, databases, business solutions, and so on. So you could hook in maybe a service desk solution, and you might say to people, hey, submit a project request on your service desk, and then we will pick up the information from that and initiate the project idea in this system. Or stick a Microsoft form into a Teams channel and say to people, hey, if you need a project, fill in this form. Okay, and then the ideas received, someone in the PMO or the transformation office would be notified. They come in here, and what they might do now is to say, you know what, I'm going to reject this project outright because we already have a project that's in the pipeline that will do exactly what this requester is asking for. So we won't need another. So I might fill in a bit of narrative here, and it'll go on to the rejected project pile, and maybe the requester will get a message. Or alternatively, let's be kind and progress this project to the next stage. And in my case, that is called the concept stage. This is where I shall now build the business case. And you can see this is the user experience of progressing project through stages. Again, this is security controlled. Not anyone can do this. Maybe it's just the PMO, certain users that are allowed to do this. Anyone else, as a project manager, I may simply submit a workflow, a request. So I have a built-in workflow request approval to proceed to next stage, and that will notify the relevant people, the PMO person that can do this, to submit this, or it could be entirely driven by workflow. Now that I've come in here and I'm at the next stage of the project, you will see new tabs have appeared. Originally we just had the summary tab, but now we have additional tabs. For example, we have a risk log here. And of course, what we're doing is we are replacing what otherwise might be stored in spreadsheets, lists of records that relate to this project, and we're building up this content. And let's look at a particular risk. Much like the issue form that we looked at earlier, this presents a standard form and reminder. This is completely configurable. We merely provide you with an out-of-the-box setup information content that tries to be as generically applicable as possible. And you can then configure categorization and fields and so on. We will do that with you. You can see this risk is experience quite nice. I can click into this 5x5 matrix to score the risk and so on. And we can equally escalate this risk to program and portfolio. This could also be done through automatic rules. It's up to you. And so an example of a form. Now, interestingly, this risk register could be built with the help of AI. So we have a built-in AI assistant here, and this is quite different from the sort of Microsoft AI experiences that you might have been using. Although it is, of course, underneath, it is absolutely built on secure Microsoft AI infrastructure, but we have packaged AI prompts as buttons. So as an end user, I don't have to worry about, how do I prompt Copilot or whatever else. This is completely built in, context aware. It's presenting me with these buttons because I know it knows that these are relevant when I'm inside a project. And it's pulling in all of the information that I've captured for this project. And then to generate an AI prompt that is, bringing all this data in to make the returned risk information as relevant as possible. And I could add additional instructions. I might say, create 5 risks, click this button here, and it goes away and generates a suggested risk list that I can change and overtype. You can see it applies sensible categorization. I can take these out, overtype them, click save, and that will now add those to the risk log that resides in my project. Another AI assistant experience which is somewhat different and really, really interesting is we, particularly where we are creating a new project as we are here, is to analyze lessons learned. We might have been diligently recording lessons learned for hundreds of projects over time. And it's a lot of work to try and go through this. So AI can do this for us. It's a typical application for AI to drive analytics from data content that we've assembled over time. So it's going to find similar projects to the one that we're about to undertake here, retrieve their lessons learned, and then pick the ones that it thinks are particularly relevant to this project that we're about to undertake, and then show me the output. So within seconds, it's given me some suggestions as to what lessons learned I should consider for my projects. It's making recommendations as to why these lessons learned might be relevant, and it's rating these, and it's also listing a whole bunch of lessons that it's found within these relevant projects that it didn't think were super useful to me in this specific project. So that was a little bit about AI assistance, particularly here in the context of kicking off a new project. And you can appreciate this is particularly of use for project managers that are maybe less experienced, and the assistant is giving them things to think about and putting information and drafting content for their projects. Let's discover some of the other content here. So of course we have documents here, and this has SharePoint integration, automatically setting up SharePoint repository for each project. And we can then, of course, deploy document templates and so on. So you can see here, I have previously created a PID based on a template that we have in the system. And interestingly, in creating this document, we can actually pull in data that we have already captured for the project and push that into the document that we're creating. So everything in blue here is actually content that we've so far saved against the project. And you can see our risk log that was originally possibly AI generated has now made it into this Word document, thereby saving all that effort to sort of retype this content. What else do we have? We have a benefits register that we can build up. Again, configurable and customizable. Build up your benefits, define them as being financial or qualitative benefits, and the screen will change accordingly. Put your targets in there. You can eventually measure outcomes, and we have benefits reporting, benefit status reporting, and so on out of the box. In creating the business case, of course, I need to capture the cost information for my project, build up a cost forecast. And again, the tool is helping me do this by presenting me with a standardized cost breakdown structure. So this is all parameter driven, the way that these costs are broken down. And this can be aligned with your general ledger accounts and cost code structures. Because we can actually build connectivity to your financial accounting system, so that maybe at some point you want to bring in, let's say, vendor invoices received for this project in accounts could come into this, let's say, on a monthly basis at month end, and populate some of these amounts. In fact, anything in blue is pushed into this calculation from other sources. And you can see we have forecast actuals, we have budgets as well allocated to this project from the program, and needless to say, we can monitor variances and so on. So that's needless to say a capability in this. So if we look at some of the amounts pushed into here and showing up in blue, 17,500 forecast in this particular line here, which is a resource cost for business analysts. Clicking on that, it shows me this amount is from resource demand, the other tab up here, and representing some 50 days of business analyst effort at a particular day rate. Okay, so the cost calculation here being standardized in the way it's broken down, of course, again, drives cost reporting across the portfolio, and as I said, presents this integration facility where costs can be pushed in here. So we talked about resource cost being featured here. So how is that done? Let's look at resource demand. So my aim here at this point, creating this business case, is to very quickly represent high-level resource demand for this project against different roles over time. And that is to, of course, drive awareness of demand for resources into overall portfolio planning exercises, but also, driving resource cost into my investment calculation and so on. And this is a spreadsheet-like experience. So, of course, a lot of people actually do this in Excel. So we've made it as simple as that. We simply add a role and we say, hey, in this case, I need a web developer, and I'm going to say I need this developer for 5 days in March and maybe again for 5 days in April. Now, this will pull in a forecast cost. Okay, so you can see £2,000 a month, so a total of £4,000. And the web developer resource is pre-configured to push this cost into a particular line within my investment calculation. But multiple categories may be available, so we could change this from a capex cost to an opex cost, and so on. We will also see that this resource demand will serve operational resource management processes. So, for example, I eventually want to be assigned an individual resource that can fulfill this developer role. In this case, I'm actually allowed to pick one, but that could be restricted. It may be a case that I need to submit this as a resource demand request to a resource manager, maybe the team lead, the resource owner of web developers. And I might do that by specifying also a particular skill request that I have, or indeed multiple. Maybe I'll need that developer to speak French and be able to do TypeScript. And I would then submit this to a resource manager who sees all requests coming in, and then I will assign a particular named resource with full visibility of people's capacity to do the work. Up here, you can see I've done this previously, and I requested the project manager to speak French, and I've ended up with my colleague Duncan, who slightly doesn't speak French, and that is clearly indicated. Now, if we consistently put resource demand like this against all of our project proposals and business cases, we can, of course, report on that. But even more so, we have an optional module that allows us to now do some modeling against that. So you can see here, this is a model I've created previously where I have lots of projects in this model up here with their potential timelines. And I see a resource heat map in the lower section of the screen, grouped by role. And we have individual people, resources within these roles that have all got individual capacities defined, and you can see months on months where something is red, we are in trouble, right? So you might see here for January, our AI specialists are 25 days over allocated, with these projects that are in my model here contributing to that over allocation. So I could now play with the data and say, hey, this particular project, what would happen if I move that out by 6 months? And instantly I get a recalculation of the resource over allocation. So things got a little bit better. The biothermal ear warming system, we are going to take a lot longer to deliver that project. So we are redistributing the resource effort. Let's take another project, this one here, and pretend that we might not deliver that at all. And I can do things like move a project, as we've already seen, but then I could also split the project and move out the remainder and things like that. So every time I do this, I end up with steps, what if steps being collected here that I can do, that I can undo and do something else. I can also analyze the before and after. So this is the difference that I've made with the what if steps that I've applied. Black being the original, green being the current model. And if I undo stuff, you can see this changing and moving things around, has an impact on this. I can then create different models, compare them, and so forth, and with that help us make portfolio planning decisions. Let's go back to our project, and actually let's take us into Microsoft Teams, because I want to briefly show you that we are able to embed all of this into Teams. So here I'm in Teams. I have a PMO team where For example, dashboards are deployed themselves, so we can of course make those available through Teams. But also the project itself can be embedded. So we have a Teams channel for a particular project, and we are able to reach the application within this team channel. So here we have a project now that's been in execution for 19 days. More content has appeared than in the one that where we're building the business case, so we can now capture change requests and lessons learned. We can submit regular status updates, and we can work with a connected planning tool. So we allow you to connect with a variety of different planning tools, this case being Microsoft Planner Premium. So you can see here the Planner Premium experience that you may well be familiar with, and we suck out data from this project plan. But other plans might be using Microsoft Project, Jira, Azure DevOps. So that is key. We can allow different teams to carry on using the scheduling and work management tool that they're comfortable with and pull the information into our application actually by way of pulling in milestones. These are being kept up to date by the external scheduling tool and drive reporting and so on. Talking about views of what's going on across our portfolios, also want to briefly show you that we have this roadmap experience, so we can create roadmaps, in this case showing me projects within programs, portfolios across our various portfolios. I can put in here what we call pseudo projects, so potential projects. I can color in the background by different categories. I can show milestones, and we even have dependency planning. So these are give-get deliverables that are being exchanged between different projects that I can monitor, and I can see if they have issues and so on. So having a great view of what's going on in our portfolios is of course absolutely essential, and the reason why we are doing a lot of this. And with that, let's explore some more reporting. Why don't we, in our final minute? So we looked at the what-if analytics in the modeling tool. Similar experiences, of course, available here as well through reporting. So resource information is of course being reported through Power BI, as is investment. So we looked at the forecasts that are attached to a particular project, and that can be analyzed down to the individual cost codes. So I can see, in my case, across my portfolios, the biggest expense clearly is personnel expenses. Also, to let you know, and this is the final thing that I'm going to show you, we do have timesheets, and it comes with comprehensive timesheet reporting. So if indeed you needed to roll out timesheets to your users, it is fully integrated. So my own timesheet experience looks like this. I'm being presented with the current open timesheet period in my system and the projects that I'm assigned to, and I can now simply enter the hours that I've worked against these projects, and then of course say that I've been on holiday, and maybe on a particular day I've been sick. I can add this too. So enter sickness here, and then we have the typical timesheet capabilities of submitting this to an approver. We have timesheet reporting to analyze missing timesheets and aggregate timesheet data. But every timesheet, once submitted, goes back into the project to show the project manager what actual hours and what actual cost has been posted to their project with a particular timesheet. With that, I want to thank you for attending today. Visit our website, powerframework.com, to find out more, and don't hesitate to ask us for a more detailed personal demo via the book a demo buttons that you find all over the website, and we'll be delighted to do that. I hope you've enjoyed your lunch, and I'll hope to speak to you soon. Thank you very much.